Hello everyone. So in this video I'm going to showcase the standard combo that you can do with this new list that I showcased in my last video that I recommend watching before watching this video. So if you want to see the list and understand the thought process behind making it and some of the choices that I made with some cards, I recommend watching that video first and then come back here to actually watch the standard combo. So here I'm just gonna showcase one combo because there is a lot to talk about, but I will mention like some things that you can do differently depending on the resources that you access. And also because I want you guys to actually try to figure out what you can do when you have access to more resources, more extenders, or when you have less access to resources as well. So I don't want you to feed you all the combos at once. I'm just gonna showcase the standard combo that I do with this list and talk about some things that you can do differently and leave the rest to you as like a thought exercise and combo exercise, if you will. So yeah, I want you guys to actually think about it and practice it yourself so that you can learn the deck even better. So let's jump straight into the combo. I want you to ignore all other 4 cards. We're just gonna focus on Remus plus 2 discards. That's it. So we're gonna lead the combo, of course, with Remus, Sershin, Ravine. And I'm just gonna go through the motions of the combo as I talk over it. I'm gonna try to make it as fast as possible because I'm really bad at doing 2 things at once. So this combo is very interesting because it requires actually less resources than the other combo that we did before with like 2 Lewin and the last deck lists. And we also don't really need to go into Ringo Worm as well, because Ringo Worm with this combo goes from being an important combo piece into just being an optional extender that you can use, which is really nice. So yeah, so this combo really does not use Ringo Worm at all, like the standard combo. Of course, if you get access to an early Ringo Worm, not even early, like if you get access to Ringo Worm during your combo, you can do optional stuff as well. But the main combo does not really need it. And this main combo only needs Phalanx as the tuner, basically, which is really cool. So yeah, so here we're just gonna go into Mistletoe as always. And this combo also makes use of a Synchro monster that we don't usually use, which is Gorm. So Gorm Fawar. I hope I pronounced that right. So Gorm is really interesting in this meta because of its effect that banishes up to 2 cards from the opponent's graveyard, which is really nice in this meta because all the meta decks like to set up the graveyard, and with transaction rollback as well in the game now, this is very important to use so that we can disrupt the opponent in case we need graveyard disruption. And this combo makes use of Gorm very nicely and without ever going out of our way to access it anyway. So it actually comes in naturally in the combo, and you're gonna see how. So here we're reaching the first point of the combo where you can do something a little bit different. Just in case you missed my other video about this particular topic, here what you can do is, since we didn't have access to an early Crystal Wing with like a regular setup, you can summon Crystal Wing at this point of the combo. So what you can do is, since we didn't normal summon yet, so we still have our normal summon, as you can see in the graveyard, we have Phalanx already and we have Samsara. So we have already the setup in the graveyard. So we can search Gizarmi with Ravine. So this is our second discard. So we're just gonna search Gizarmi, and we can normal summon Gizarmi here to get back the Phalanx and go into Crystal Wing this way. So even if you don't have an early setup to go into an early Crystal Wing, you can still summon Crystal Wing at this point of the combo, which is relatively early in the combo. So if your opponent did not Nibiru you yet, and you get to this point, you're already protected, unless they have double like Nibiru and Veiler, or Nibiru and Imper. Anyway, So here we can go into Seal with Gizarmi and Atom. And you notice I put Atom a lot in the extra monster zone, and that's a good habit to have with Dragunity specifically, because you want to summon your extra deck monsters in the extra monster zone if you can afford to, because you want to keep the main monster zone empty so that everything is clear and everything, like, you don't clog up your main monster zone in case you want to extend even further, especially when you're learning the deck. And the reason why I summon Atom in the extra monster zone is because there is only really two ways to get rid of that Atom. We either tribute over it, or we link it off into Seal. So either way, that Atom is not staying in the extra monster zone regardless. So that's why I like to summon my Atom into the extra monster zone. Some other Dragon decks might want to avoid that, but in Dragunity it's actually preferred to do that instead. So here we summoned the Seal. I'm just gonna activate Samsara here to get back the Mistletoe and tribute over the Seal. I'm pretty sure Dragunity is the only deck that does this, like use this Samsara and tribute over Seal like setup, which is pretty cool. Like, I like this play a lot. Maybe some variation of Dragon Link use this as well, but as far as I know, like, only Dragunity does it consistently. So yeah, we're gonna get the Phalanx, and with Seal we're going to summon the Seifert. Summon the Phalanx, and now we're going to activate Seifert to access our Bestial Engine. And here, before I summon Saronir, I like to go into Lewin instead, and again Lewin is gonna be summoned in the extra monster zone. Again, any extra deck monster that you summon that is not gonna stick to the field anyway, you want to summon it in the extra monster zone and keep your main monster zone clean so that you know what you can do and extend even further if you need to. Because sometimes you don't even know that you can extend until you draw the cards or think about it for a little bit, right? So now that we have Phalanx back on the field, we can just use Saronir. So here usually you're gonna banish Zephyros most of the time, but sometimes with some hands you don't access Zephyros, so in this case you just banish Atom. But usually you want to keep like your extra deck monsters, light and dark extra deck monsters in the graveyard so that you can utilize regains to recycle them. So in this case we're just gonna banish the Zephyros and summon Saronir. So as you can see here, this is the very standard end board that you had with the old deck list. But now, since we are not playing Double Atom, we're just playing Crimson Dragon, what we can do is go into Crimson Dragon by using the Lewin, which is a tuner, and Saronir. Again, this Crimson Dragon is not gonna stick that long to the field, so I'm just gonna summon it in the extra monster zone and keep my monster zone, my main monster zone, open. What I like to do with the chain links here is put the Crimson Dragon as chain link 1 to search Synchro Rumble, and put Saronir as chain link 2. And we do not activate Lewin here. We keep this effect for later. So now we're just gonna send Lubellion to the graveyard and search Synchro Rumble, and at this point we're gonna recover Lubellion from the graveyard by using Seifert. Or before that, what you can do is activate Crimson Dragon, targeting the Crystal Wing to summon a Savage. So if you already know what your end board is gonna look like and you know the sequencing, you can do this early, or you can keep it for later. I usually do it early because I already know ahead of time what my end board is gonna look like, so I usually do it before I activate Seifert. So yeah, so now that we have already 2 disruptions, the rest of the combo is gonna be like more protected. So here we're just gonna search the Magnamote, and before we summon the Magnamote, we want to set up Regained. So a lot of people ask me sometimes, well, not a lot of people, but some people ask me sometimes, when do you go for Regained and when do you go for Beast? The rule of thumb is that if you only have one access to one of them, you go for regained most of the time. But sometimes if you're facing like a back row deck, or you're going second and you want that extra tool to break the board, you want to go for beast instead. Also, even if you go first, sometimes you want to set up beast if you already have hand traps in your hand, and you're not really fishing for anything with the draws, and also you're not planning on putting this pattern in the graveyard, right? If you're not planning on doing that, then regained is not really necessary, so you can just go for beast for that extra disruption. So it all depends on what you want to do, right? But most of the time, going for regained is the safest option. So here that we set up the regained, we can go into this pattern, and here it's important that you summon this pattern in the extra monster zone, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because we're gonna need these 3 open spaces to work comfortably for the rest of the combo. So here what you can do is activate this pattern, and here you have choices. If you want to have Arid Bear as part of your end board, you can just summon one of the level 4 monsters that you can summon, and then summon back the Lewin from the graveyard with the Synchro Rumble and go into that Synchro 10 that way, right? So you would end up on Arid Bear if you want that effect. However, the better way to end this combo, in my opinion, and this is the way I like to do it, is I actually summon the Samsara instead. And you might be thinking, what do you need this Samsara for? Is it just to go into seal again and pass? No, that's not why. The reason why I do that is because now I can just use Synchro Rumble at this point and summon back the Lewin. And with Lewin plus Samsara, I have a level 7 that I can summon, which is Gorm. So you can do this now, or you can do it after you summon Magnamut. Usually I do it after, but this time I'm doing it early so that you see it like more clearly. So here I like to put Gorm as chain link 1, targeting the Phalanx, and then activate Lewin. So now we're gonna equip Lewin by its own effect to Gorm. So here, usually when you equip Lewin to a Dragunity Synchro, you want to equip it away from the monster itself. So we can put it here or here, right? The reason for that is to avoid any like shenanigans with Imperm activating on the field, right? Because Imperm can negate Lewin since it is equipping itself on Gorm by its own effect. So you want to avoid that. So even if Gorm gets negated or something, like it doesn't also catch Lewin in the crossfire. And we're gonna equip the Phalanx that is equipped by the effect of Gorm. And now what we can do is summon the Phalanx. So here, this is the, I don't know what number of time now that we recycled Phalanx. And we can summon Magnamut by banishing Seal. Since we have regained on the field, so now we can recycle the Seal. I like to put my Magnamut on chain link 1, regained on chain link 2, recycling the Seal and get the draw. Sometimes I like to summon Magnamut early so that I see what draw do I have before I continue, but usually this is also fine. So now we summoned back the Phalanx and we have Magnamut, and we can just go into our Axel Synchro. And Axel Synchro is gonna summon back the Phalanx, and now the end board is almost done. So this is the end board. Of course, in the end phase, we have Magnamut that resolves its effect. So now we can go into Drew Swarm. And this is pretty much the end board. So let's just try to pause a little bit here. Okay. So let's check the end board. So we have a Crystal Wing, we have a Dispatter, we have a Savage, we have an Axel Synchro that is ready to go on the opponent's turn because we play the OG Stardust Dragon, of course, and we have Gorm. So how strong is this board? Well, the rest of the, I'm gonna focus on Gorm specifically, but the rest of the end board is self-explanatory. Like I don't need to explain why this end board is strong. And we have regained as well, and we have Druus in hand plus 3 unknown cards, Of course, here I did not set up cold buy because, again, I told you before, like at the start of the combo, to ignore everything else in my hand because we're just focusing on the actual remiss plus 2 discard combo. But of course, this cold buy would be on the field as well. So Gorm. So what's the deal with Gorm? Well, as you saw, Gorm played out nicely in the combo, and it allowed us to access Phalanx again to go into Axel Synchro as part of the end board. Right, so it already has a place in the combo as in the sense that it can recycle a tuner, right? Like revive a tuner, I should say, right? And in some cases, you can actually also revive Gizarmi as well if you want to go into Synchro 10 that way, right? So you use Gizarmi to go into Synchro 10, especially if you go in second. That play comes up often if you go second more than going first. So what's the deal with Gorm? So Gorm, like I said, it has a really good effect that disrupts the graveyard in this meta where the graveyard is really important for meta decks. And you might think that because Gorm does not negate, it's not really that great. However, the thing with Gorm is that the way the combo played out and the way we equip it with Lewin, it's actually very hard to disrupt Gorm. Because for one, Gorm is protected by all the other disruptions that we have. And your opponent might struggle to play around the effect of Gorm. Okay? So that's one. Two, Gorm is a very beefy boy because of Lewin. So 3600 attack and 3300 defense, that's not something that you just get rid of easily. You cannot really attack over it easily. So battle phase is not an option. So most likely your opponent is gonna try to get rid of it by using an effect. So, and because the way Gorm's effect work, and it is a quick effect, even if they try to disrupt it, you can just chain the effect of Gorm like on a quick effect, and you just let Gorm die if you don't want to waste your other disruptions on protecting Gorm. Okay? Also, Gorm is hiddenly protected by Synchro Rumble because Synchro Rumble protects all my level 7 and 8 Dragon Synchro monsters on the field from being destroyed, whether by battle or card effects. So any level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monsters on the field are protected from destructions by the effect of Synchro Rumble. I can just banish this card and protect them. And a lot of people don't know this, so they might just try to Raigeki your end board, either by using Raigeki itself or a Raigeki-like effect, or they would try to destroy like a specific monster by an effect, not realizing that Synchro Rumble will protect it. So that's another layer of protection on Gorm. And the good thing about Gorm's effect is that it's an infinite loop of banishing 2 cards every turn. The reason for that is because I'm just gonna activate Gorm here just to showcase what I'm trying to say, is that once you activate the effect of Gorm to send Lewin to the graveyard and banish like up to 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard, then Lewin activates to equip itself back onto Gorm, and now you have the setup ready again for next turn. And this is an infinite loop. Each turn you can do this. Of course, both effects are hard once per turn, but if you can keep Gorm on the field and Lewin on the field, you can keep doing this each turn. So now I have Gorm equipped with Lewin again, ready to go next turn. So each turn I have a way to banish 2 cards from my opponent's graveyard, which is insane in this current meta, right? Although I'm gonna be honest with you, most of the time you're not even gonna get to the point where you use Gorm's effect because all your other disruptions are so like are so good that sometimes, most of the times, the game is gonna end before you even get the chance to use this effect. So just to be clear, although this effect is really strong, most of the time you're just gonna disrupt your opponent with all your other disruptions, and they're just gonna scoop, right? Or they're just gonna pass turn and let you OTK them. So yeah, so it's a nuanced use of Gorm, but sometimes you can just use it early depending on the deck you're facing. Okay, so yeah, so that's the strength of Gorm, of course. And also in going second, Gorm is really nice because it allows you to go into Arid Bear and Ascalon, and even like Baron very easily, especially if you access Gizarme. So there is that as well. And also Gorm is a target for Ascalon if it ever gets destroyed on the field. So you can just summon Gorm and equip it with something. So there is that as well. So that's the reason behind Gorm. And I think this end board sums up the strength of Dragunity in this current meta and the way you can actually basically have a chance against this current meta, especially going first. Going second, you have other options, like I said, like Ascalon specifically, like is very good at clearing the field and OTKing. It's just a matter of how do you bait out all their disruptions before going into the Ascalon, right? So that's pretty much it, guys. Do I have something else to say? No, not really. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Like I said in this video, I just went for the standard combo, and I just want you guys to do your research and try to practice. What do you do, for example, if you have access to Ringo Worm as well on top of all of this? What kind of end board can you like end on? Like you can end on so many end boards that like you have options. Like you can end on any end board you want. You can even end on Seal as part of your end board if you do it before activating Synchro Rumble, because be careful with Synchro Rumble, it locks you into special summoning only Synchro monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. So if you're planning to end on Seal, do that before you activate Synchro Rumble. Okay? So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys understood the combo and the reason behind it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.